Herzlich willkommen zu Toter Hahn, Quest for Lorcana.
Salve Illuminatori, ich bin Vladimiro.
Ich bin Thorsten. Heute haben wir mal was Neues für euch. Ihr habt es ja vielleicht mitbekommen, über Twitch wird gleich von Disney Lorcana, Ravensburger ein Lorecast
Gestreamt, genau.
Gestreamt und mit Neuigkeiten für uns Lorcana-Spieler.
Ja.
Wir sind total gespannt, was da auf uns zukommen wird. Vielleicht bezüglich dem Competitive Play oder Organized Play oder Neuigkeiten zu dem Set 4, generell Änderungen.
Genau.
Wir sind auf jeden Fall schon mal gespannt. Vielleicht ja auch direkt was zu den Setmeisterschaften, wo wir uns ja auch schon so ein bisschen drauf vorbereiten, wo ja echt eine gute Diversität der verschiedenen Card-Decks, der Meta-Decks vorhanden ist, sodass er eben nicht besonders stark ist. Jetzt, Wahnsinn. Ich bin mal gespannt.
Das ist 18 Uhr jetzt. Schauen wir mal. In unserem neuen Format hier.
Oh, nice. Ja, sieht cool aus. Mystische Musik.
Ja, bei mir startet es nicht. Ja, das ist natürlich typisch live.
Okay.
Aha. Die ganzen Luminari. Oh, da war Mulan.
Ja. Ich glaube, das sind wir, ne?
Oh, was für ein Mensch ist das denn?
Beziehungsweise die
Das
die
sind
Glitter.
die Luminari. Das sind wir.
Ja.
Hm?
Ja.
Venturo.
Oh,
Oder Venturio.
nice.
glaub
Coole
ich.
Animation.
Okay, die können fliegen jetzt. Können wir dann auch fliegen, vielleicht?
Im Prinzip stellt sich die Frage, machen die vielleicht irgendwann mal eine Serie daraus? Das wär doch-
Sind das nicht hier die Art von Medus? Was ist das? Bruno? Das ist Bruno, ne? Ja. Ja, von Dings. Madrigal. Ja. Auf alle Fälle Ursula. Oh mein Gott, mit
Das
Tritons
sieht ja mega
Dreizack.
cool aus.
Ich denke, das wird Set
Ursula.
4 sein. Ich vermute es mal ganz stark. Holla. Ursulas
Das
Rückkehr.
hat ja echt sowas so hier Actionheldenmäßig schon, ne? Oh.
I'm Ryan Miller, co-designer and brand manager of Disney Lorcana, and I'm here
Rise
to
of
welcome
Villains
you to the
wurde schon
first
geschrieben.
ever Disney Lorcana Lorecast. We'll be using Lorecast to give you the first look at all things Disney Lorcana, and today we're kicking off in a big way.
Ja, der erste
by
Disney
announcing
Lorcana
Set 4,
Lorecast.
Ursula's Return. A storm has been building in the magical realm of Lorcana. A powerful Ursula glimmer is entangling other glimmers, bending them to her will, while many more have gone missing. How far will the Sea Witch go to gain power over all Lorcana? Ursula's Return will be available at hobby stores and Disney parks on May 17th, 2024, and at mass retailers and DisneyStore.com on May 31st.
Oh, nice.
2024.
Da ist Bruno, wirklich.
Aber 17. Mai? Ja, dann ist es ja schon zu, also ist das
One of the
vierte
things
Set.
I'm really excited about for Ursula's Return
Krass, hätte ich
Ja.
jetzt nicht gedacht, dass jetzt schon
Encanto. It's one of my favorite
gespoilert
movies,
wird. Mega.
finally talk about it. So many
Encanto!
of you in the past year or so have asked me, when is Encanto
Ja!
coming into the game? And I've known all along.
Ja,
but I
das ist so ein
couldn't say
schöner
anything.
Film.
Well, now I can. They're finally in, and it's super exciting.
Nice. Ich habe über die Karten gelesen jetzt. Das müssen wir
Ja.
später machen. Aber heftig.
The other
Ja,
thing I have
mega.
not been able to talk about
Also die
for
ersten,
so long,
Artworks finde ich schon mega.
is a Lumineers Quest.
Ja.
It's a whole
Oh.
new way to play Disney Lorcana.
Das Giftset.
Instead of playing against your friends
Deep
and family,
Trouble.
you are now playing with them. It is a cooperative
Lumineers
experience where you will
Quest.
team together to defeat the
Was
Ursula
zum
Glimmer and
Henker?
save Lorcana itself. It's awesome, it's
Aha.
amazing, and I can't wait for you to try it.
Das ist ein kooperatives
Cool,
Spiel.
das ist ja mega.
Okay.
One of the more subtle changes we're making with set 4 has to do with the accessories. Now, in the past, the accessories always pulled art from the set that they came out with, but starting with set 4, we're going to use this opportunity to pull art from any of the sets so that we can really highlight those fan favorites, such as Giant Tinkerbell, one of my personal favorites. And
die
of
Mappe
course,
mit
I
Giant
used some of my
Tinkerbell.
power to make sure she got her own playmat, but that's neither here nor there.
Ja,
We're
die
gonna
ist
see
echt
some
klasse.
Oh,
Boah,
Rapunzel
die sieht echt
auch.
gut aus.
Schönes Artwork.
Also da muss ich sagen, die sieht sogar noch ein bisschen besser aus als Winnie Pooh, oder?
This is our series
Oh,
of
die sieht aber auch
competitive
gut
events
aus
that
hier.
allow you to show off your
Rapunzel.
skills at deck building and playing, but I know what you all really care about are the prizes, and we are giving away some amazing prizes, and I'm here to show you what they are. First off is our participation prize. This means everyone that comes to the event gets one of these, and it is this
Challenge.
gorgeous Dragonfire. You can see we're doing a full extended
nice.
art all the way to the edge
Das
of
hat
the
ein
card,
anderes Symbol
based
unten,
on
ne?
the original art of the card.
Gesehen?
Let it go
Oh,
is the
ja.
Dragonfire, das sieht richtig geil aus.
What does that
Mein
mean? Well, the top 64 are going to
Für
get
alle
one of these.
Spieler?
There's also other ways you can get one of these as well.
Aha.
This beautiful Cinderella card is going to go
Oh,
to the
cool,
top
die
32
besten
players.
64 Spieler bekommen Let It
Is
Go.
only for the top 16.
Mega.
And
Mein
finally,
Gott,
for
was
the
ist das
Oh,
für
top
die
Karten?
sieht geil aus, die
going,
Cinderella.
a
Die Top
serialized
32.
gold
Top, oh,
photo
nice.
of Mickey
Hast du
Mouse
gehört?
Little Tailor.
Top 4.
Oh, oh, oh.
Serialized Gold Promo.
Was ist das denn? Mega. Es geht richtig ab bei Lorcana. Mega. Krass.
Hey, stop by. Let's talk Lorcana. Let's play a few games. I really can't wait. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of the Lorecast.
Jesus.
Ja, mega.
Was zum Teufel?
Hello, Lumineers, and welcome to the first Disney Lorcana Lorecast. Like Ryan
Oh, und weiter
mentioned at the
geht's.
start, we're here to talk to you about everything that's coming to Disney Lorcana, and Ursula's return. Obviously, everyone I know is super hyped about it. We have the chat that we can see. All of you got so hyped about Bruno and Encanto and all of that.
Ja,
But I have some
Encanto.
guests with
Ja, das
me
T-Shirt ist
who
echt cool,
came
was da,
actually when we
was
came
da
in
an
here.
ist, ne?
Stimmt.
Mega
So
nice.
first, I want to introduce Erin from the Illumiteers.
Hey everybody, I am pinching myself still.
Aber das sind doch schon mal mega geile
we're
News,
actually
oder?
Sitting here for
Ja,
the first
voll.
podcast. Thank you so much for the invitation all today. We're
Thank
really
you for
honored.
being here.
And I tell you what,
Ah, die haben noch eine Tintenlande. Oh, und hast du das gesehen? Ich glaube, da lag die Stitch-Matte, ne?
So much
Ja,
I can't
da
really
liegt sie
talk
auf dem
about it
Tisch.
now. My mind is blown a little bit. Otherwise, I'd have something more eloquent to say.
And your name is?
Oh, my name's Liam.
And then also from Team Lorcana, Matt Ang, lead lead art director. Didn't mean to take that away from anyone.
It's okay. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here and be part of this first inaugural Lorecast. This is really exciting to be here.
Yeah, so I think we kind of want to kick things off with being that we have you guys here.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to seeing set 4, Ursula's Return?
I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose a little bit right now. We just saw so many incredible announcements, and I'm really excited to talk about all of them. That trailer for set 4 is
Mind-blowing.
incredible. Ja,
Das ist
I
cool,
love
ne?
that
Thorsten,
the
Erin
narrative
und Liam,
of
das sind
Lorcana
tatsächlich
is
auch Content
continuing
Creator.
to, like,
Die
with every
Lumiteers
set,
heißen
Ah,
die.
nice.
diving deeper and deeper into the
Ja.
story that you've all been working so hard to roll out, and I think us as a community has been trying so hard to figure out.
Yeah.
And so things are like kind of starting to make sense a little bit. Some things we've seen in cards from the first 3 sets, like it's like, oh, maybe that's where it was going. So I'm really excited to see more about set 4.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the narrative is such a special part of this game, and to this point, we've just seen breadcrumbs, I think. By the way, if Dive Deeper was a Ursula pun, I fully approve.
Ja, die Illumiteers sind ja auch schon
We really have,
anscheinend
those of us
sehr,
who've
sehr
been around for a while
bekannt.
have seen these little tidbits throughout and
Ja.
kind of tried to piece together what's going on. And
Ja, mit
even
denen können wir
right
uns leider
away
nicht
in the
messen,
trailer,
aber
seeing that purple seaweed that we saw in set
Nein.
1 on like Mickey Mouse Detective and Duke Weaselton. And so what I'm really excited about is now that we've seen kind of the way things are going and this amazing villain appear, and so a ton of other characters I can't wait to talk about, going back and looking and figuring out that the story was there all along. We just weren't seeing it. But now I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about first, before we get deeper into more of that set 4, is the accessories, the playmats, and the card sleeves, the deck box. Ryan had mentioned that those aren't tied to the set anymore, so they'll still be releasing, at least for now, they'll still be releasing tied to a set. But, you know, Giant Tank as the biggest one, not intended to say it that way, but Giant Tank being the biggest one that fans have just been so excited about. that art
yeah,
ever since
Giant
it was
Tink is
revealed.
hammer, eh?
So to get that on a playmat, we're hoping people are going to be really excited about that.
Oh, they will be. I mean, give the players what they want, right? Like, Big Tink, we do a lot of art analysis and interviews, and we talk to the community, and I can't tell you the number of people who said that Big Tinkerbell was the card that got them into Lorcana. Like, they saw that art and were like, I need to figure out what this is about, and they came in the game. And, you know, in a poll we did, 50% of fans ranked Big Tinkerbell in the top 10 cards of theirs in the first set. So this card is wildly popular, and I'm so excited that you all are kind of listening to the pulse of the community and pulling that, you know, into the accessory line. It's amazing.
It continues to be that
Ja,
way.
die
Like,
Tinkerbell
we've
ist ja
had two
weiterhin
other sets
super
since we
beliebt.
saw Big Tink in the first
Ja,
chapter.
mega.
And Big Tink still in conversations consistently is one of people's like favorite pieces of art. And so to be able to see that in playmat form, I'm so excited to go to our LGS and like somebody roll out a Big Tink playmat. It's gonna be really fun.
The thing for us is that when we think about these accessories, you know, when people make their deck, like player expression, self-expression is important for both like TCG fans and Disney fans. And so being able to make sure that we're getting those fan favorite characters in so that players can express themselves through more than just their deck, you know, that's what we're hoping to hit with those. But yeah, I think we have some of the cards that were in there for card reveals.
Sag mir Bruno,
We can
für Bruno
show-
sehen.
we can switch to show card reveals.
Ja, bitte zeig uns mal Bruno. Bruno. Nein! Ah, da.
I have to tell you, Rashad, like,
Da
there's
war ein Leck.
so many characters. I know people are going to be
Ja,
pouring
das
over
ist
this
die,
video
das
afterwards
ist die
too,
Matte,
trying
von
to
der wir
analyze
gesprochen
all the
haben.
little-
Ja.
Die Champions-Matte.
So hopefully card reveals should appear over here if we
Yeah, yeah.
if we can get the first card pulled up. Okay, the first card pulled up.
Excellent.
Ja, die kennen wir schon.
The first card pulled up, please. Okay, is there do we have
Ja,
that
man
first
merkt, dass die
card?
auch halt im Livestream sind. Ne? Das ist dann immer so, dann passieren halt nur mal Sachen, die nur im Livestream passieren.
Ja, das haben wir
halt.
ja selber bei unserem Livestream gemerkt.
Ja.
Irgendwie
Ja.
anders als man denkt und dann.
Ja.
I think we're out of
Ah, hier, das ist eine
Dalmatian
gute
puppies,
Frage, die
so-
da in dem Chat gestellt wurde, ob es dann da hier so ein Judge-Programm geben wird. Das wäre natürlich auch interessant.
Ich habe das, ja, ich glaube, da hatte ich schon. Oh, warte, ich muss die Ariel gucken.
This
Ja,
is
oh, die sieht
Hammer
gut
Art.
aus,
I know
krass.
a lot of people have been asking
Das ist auch eine ganz andere
Mann.
Artwork-Stil wieder,
for
ne?
Ariel as a Floodborn. You know, Ariel in set 1 has been, the first chapter has been.
Ja, weil sie ein Floodborn
Mhm.
ist, deswegen können die das ja dann anders machen. So mit Rüstung und so, sieht richtig hammer aus.
A Floodborn that is steel, which we're seeing a lot of that Ariel being played in Amber Steel decks.
Yeah.
Coole Karte.
You know, this Ariel
Shift
is
4.
a 6-cost inkable Floodborn, 3 strength,
Ja.
8 willpower. Shift 4.
Passt natürlich im Steel-Song-Deck.
Ability Amplified Voice. Whenever you play a
Weil
song,
die mit Songs
you may
arbeitet.
use 2 ink to deal 3 damage to chosen character. And I didn't mention this, she has 2 lore, I know we can all see that. But essentially those Amber Steel, or Steel Song, like everyone keeps referring to them, those Steel Song decks
Ja.
just
Ah, die ist
got a
ziemlich
huge
stark, finde ich.
tool where now that Ariel that they were already playing
Ja, genau, die kannst du halt auf deiner Dreier-Ariel drauflegen.
before,
Und dann singst du irgendwas mit einer Cinderella und dann kannst du, ja, es kostet 2 Tinten weiterhin,
gut.
ne? Aber dennoch, 2 Tinten, 3 Schaden, Ja.
to deal additional damage. So, I mean, what do you
ja,
guys
und sie
think?
kostet für 2.
Ja, und 3,8, das ist ja nicht zu verachten.
So
Ne?
good
8
on
ist
so many
schon
levels.
eine
Ja,
der stärksten
3,8,
Karten, dann
genau.
so
In game
gesehen.
now she has 2 lore, so you can start, you know, moving towards your win condition.
Ist gut.
Und das hier finde
Gefällt mir.
so
Und
gesehen
Artwork, ich finde das
ist auch
Artwork
eine
super.
Super Rare, ne?
So, like, in-
Also keine
Ja.
Legendary.
Also episch zu Deutsch, ja,
schon
super
ziemlich
rare,
gut,
ja.
It's amazing for how many people The Little
Ja.
Mermaid was such a formative.
Ja,
Disney
echt mega
film for them.
nice. Ich bin mal
I
echt gespannt, was da noch so alles so
underestimated,
kommt.
Personally, how much this film meant to people and how many artists got their start tracing Ariel on VHS covers. There's like 5 artists who told us that. So the more Ariels, the better. And seeing Ariel, you know, in this form is just fantastic. And I think players are going to absolutely love it.
And I have to, like, that 8 willpower stat line is...
Ja, wie du gesagt hast,
We're
Thorsten,
starting
ja.
to see that, especially with the lands that rolled out and into the Inklands.
Ja, 8 Willpower
Really,
ist
when you have
tough.
that over, like,
Das Deck zu
5
bekommen,
stat
plus
line.
Mahlzeit.
Ach, jetzt habe ich gar nicht
It-
drauf
it's a little bit
geachtet.
of
Wie
a
viel
bear
hat die
to get-
gekostet
to get
beim
those
ins
off the
Spiel bringen? Wie
board.
viel
And
Tinte muss man
so,
zahlen?
I think because of that.
Ich glaube 6, aber du kannst dich für 4 shiften.
Ja, das ist schon ziemlich gut, ja.
So, those of you who play
Ja.
Steel Songs.
Ah,
Und wenn du halt Stil-Song spielst, spielst du ja die 3 Ariel automatisch. Das ist ja die Idee
ja, schon eine
dahinter.
gewisse Machtverschiebung,
Yeah,
ne?
so let's take a look at the next card that we have.
Das kann man jetzt, glaube ich, noch nicht sagen, das ist zu früh. Aber die Karte ist gut auf alle Fälle, ja. Technische Probleme.
Oh, okay, gut.
Ich find's cool. Okay.
Ja, finde ich aber trotzdem
Mirabelle.
total sympathisch, dass die da genau solche Probleme haben, wie
Ja.
wir dann teilweise in unseren
Ja.
We saw in the trailer
Events.
when Bruno was there.
Oh Gott, das ist also dein Madrigal-Themendeck.
Ja, nice.
Characters
Interesting.
in that, Encanto-themed starter deck. So,
Ja, Encanto! Oh mein Gott. Das Artwork sieht
Ja,
super
das sieht
aus.
echt cool aus.
Uninkable Amber character, 3 Strength, 5 Willpower, with support. And
Das ist
an
aber
ability
schon ziemlich
saving
gut wieder,
power.
ne?
Keep skipping the
Erstmal
lore,
2 Lore, also 2 Legendenpunkte sammeln und dann jedes Mal, wenn sie questet, bekommen alle anderen Madrigal-Charaktere auch +1. Echt
Ja.
cool. Und Support.
That's
Und Support, ja.
for the starter deck.
Ja, ist gut. Ich denke, die ist gut. Sie questet für 2, hat leider nur 5 hinten. 5 ist momentan... Man will meistens 6 hinten haben, das ist die magische Nummer. 5 ist okay, aber wenn man das in den Themendeck spielt und mit anderen Madrigal-Charaktere, ich meine, guck mal bitte, die Typen.
Ja.
Dreamborn, Hero, Madrigal. Das ist jetzt ein Typ geworden. Das ist doch nicht Hammer?
Mega
Ich find's
cool.
super.
I love that we're seeing kind of
Wow.
the Encanto starter deck come together for this set. I love that.
Oh, ich freue mich da schon, meine Frau zu zeigen. Die wird sich sehr freuen, weil sie mag Encanto sehr. Sie spielt zwar kein Lorcana, aber sie mag Encanto. Und ich denke, da wird sie sich sehr freuen.
Like her role in the film and the fact that she gives kind of more strength in some ways. And
Ja,
when I use
Saving
strength
the Miracle
right now,
heißt die
talking,
Fähigkeit.
Lore to the other members of the Madrigal family. I think that just plays so beautifully into
Yeah.
who she is as a character.
Ja. Wow.
And I love the butterflies all around her too.
Ja.
Oh, the artwork's incredible.
I just love
Das
Encanto in
Artwork
the
ist
game.
fantastisch.
Ja, das ist echt cool.
We talked to a lot of people. Okay, I'm going to keep saying that. We talked to a lot of people. We were talking to a Lorcana artist who's from Colombia about Encanto, and we asked specifically, what was it like for you when you saw this film come out and representing your culture? And they said it was life-changing in some ways. They got to sit down and share their culture with people around them who aren't familiar with Colombia. And so for films like this, they really have a special place in some people's hearts. So to see this card, to see this franchise in the game is just so exciting, and I think it's going to mean a lot to a lot of people.
Absolut.
We actually,
Der Film ist super.
Absolut, ich finde ihn auch super gut.
Und so fröhlich, ne? Und die Musik und so.
We can
Hammer.
go through each of them right now. I think the next one should be Bruno. Can we talk about him?
Bruno.
No, we might just have to move on.
Here we go. Bruno Madrigal, Out of the Shadows.
Bruno
he has a
Madrigal.
5-cost Uninkable Amethyst Storyborn character. 4 Strength, 5 Willpower, 1 Lore, I remembered this time, with an ability, it was your vision. When you play this character,
gefällt dir die nicht so?
gains, when this character is banished in a challenge, you
Ich
may return
überlege,
this card
wie
to your
man den
hand
nutzen
this
könnte.
turn.
Okay.
Flavor
So-
Aber das ist ja nur in dem Zug, wo du ihn ausspielst. Das heißt, du müsstest ihn selber...
Ja, aber das ist doch gar nicht so
Opfern.
schlecht.
Er
Ich
hat
meine,
auch-
wenn du jetzt einen Charakter hast, der schon schwer beschädigt ist und der wird dann in einem Kampf verbannt, weil du weißt, du verlierst ihn, ja, dann kriegst du ihn ja wieder auf der Hand zurück. Vor allen Dingen unter dem Aspekt, wenn du ja sowieso vielleicht gar nicht heilen oder keine Heilfähigkeiten in deinem Deck hast. Ne?
Nee, super. Ich habe die Karte falsch gelesen. Ich dachte, Bruno bekommt
Nee.
den Effekt. Nein, Bruno gibt den Effekt.
Mega.
Dann ist das wiederum cool. Leider auch 5 und Uninkable.
Gut.
Aber so ein Maui zum Beispiel, gibst du einfach Maui läuft in irgendwas rein. Maui zurück auf die Hand. Nicht, oder?
Pretty fun card. I do have to say,
Ja.
Aubrey Archer is incredible. All her cards amazing. Just really nailed the character.
Und Artwork gefällt mir auch.
Love it so much.
Bruno sieht so verrückt aus, wie man den in dem Film gesehen hat. So richtig so.
It being
So ein bisschen
uninkable
der Arme.
is a little tough. I'm interested to see how it does play out. I do have to say though, because I realized I said it while the trailer was playing, but I am so excited for another Amber Amethyst starter deck.
Ja, leider Gottes. Ah.
Ja, aber du hast ja sowieso einen gewissen Anteil an nicht tintbaren Karten. Den musst du ja, oder planst du ja sowieso mit ein, weil die haben ja dann eben diese gute Fähigkeit. Also meistens sind es ja die nicht tintbar sind, die ja eben ja, gute Fähigkeiten
Bessere Fähigkeiten haben.
Ich meine, sonst wäre das auch viel zu stark.
Ja, das stimmt.
Also das Coole finde ich ist auch, dass es so gesehen nur Rare ist an der Stelle. Ne? Also du hast eine gute Chance, das ja mit in dein Deck zu bekommen.
So Mirabelle and Bruno are kind of the highlights
Ja.
of that Encanto deck.
Vor allen Dingen halt, jetzt haben wir jetzt Mirabelle gesehen und Bruno. Mirabelle ist ja Bernstein, Bruno ist Amethyst. Also mal gucken, ob die vielleicht da wirklich versuchen, dieses Bernstein-Amethyst jetzt auch mal wieder zu pushen. Was ursprünglich ja mehr so Agrofarben sind, mit Lilo und Malefiz. Mal schauen, aber interessant. Oh, Dolores.
Easy listener. She is a 4-cost inkable Amethyst storyborn character. 3 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore, with an ability
das ist aber auch cool, ne?
Informant. When you play this character, if an opponent
Ja.
has an exerted character in play, you may draw a card.
Du hast halt mehr Werte. Das gleiche macht halt die Malefiz. Die kostet 3, hat 2/2 und questet für 1. Die ist sozusagen die bessere Version, aber daran gebunden, dass der Gegner etwas erschöpft haben muss, damit du eine Karte ziehen kannst. Ja, okay. Dafür hat bessere Werte, ne? Die kann halt besser traden gegen andere Charaktere. Und questet für 2.
For those of you who might not have seen some of Liam in my videos before, you're going to hear us say this a lot today, which is, I love this art.
Ja.
You know, the art team at Ravensburg does such an incredible job.
Thank
the
you.
artists they bring on board are just amazing. And again, this is wonderful. I feel like this art is a little bit more stylized than kind of your modern storybook feel.
Also ich muss sagen, das Artwork gefällt mir bis jetzt mehr oder weniger durch die Bank gut.
Alle meinst du, ne? Ja, muss ich auch sagen. Vor allem die ganze Familie Madrigal, sehr cool, aber ich mochte auch Ariel, war schön mit dieser Rüstung und so.
Ja, die fand ich richtig cool. Und die Dalmatiner.
Die Dalmatiner.
Your opponent now has to kind of think twice about whether they want to, do I want this 1 lore this turn, or on turn 4 is my opponent going to get a free card off of this? So it's kind of fun. I like it.
And then we can look at the next one.
Bin ich mal gespannt.
Oh, Luisa.
Du siehst das anscheinend immer ein paar Sekunden eher als ich.
Ja, wahrscheinlich wird das so sein. Wir müssen das gucken, dass wir das diesmal synchron bekommen, aber ja. Ist ja das erste Mal, dass wir sowas versuchen.
Ja, ich glaube, das geht auch gar nicht. Das hat ja wahrscheinlich auch was mit dem Internetanschluss in dem Moment zu tun. Rush. Ja, okay, gut. Obwohl ein bisschen, ja.
Ja, sie ist halt nicht tintbar, ne? Wenn wir bedenken, es gibt Madame Mim Fuchs für 3 tintbar. Klar, du musst was auf die Hand bouncen, hat aber die gleichen Werte. Quested für 1 hat auch Rush.
Ja, ich glaube, ich würde eher dann Madame Mim nehmen an der Stelle.
Ja, ne? Wahrscheinlich ja. Aber hier geht es, glaube ich, auch darum, was man in Madrigal Familie baut.
Ah, da, Felix Madrigal.
Der ist okay.
Oh,
ich glaube,
ist nicht schlecht. Also,
das sind die gleichen Werte
nicht
wie
so,
Piglet.
ja, das kann wohl sein, ja. Also nicht so stark, aber gut, 4 hält er ja schon gut aus und dann dafür 2 Lore finde ich ziemlich gut.
Und wie gesagt, er ist halt Typ Madrigal.
Ja, genau, richtig. Ja, genau, das darf man jetzt an der Stelle
aber
echt nicht
Madrigal,
vergessen,
genau.
weil diese neue Fähigkeit, die dazu gekommen ist, ne? Also würde er dann ja an der Stelle für 3 questen, was ziemlich stark ist,
Ja,
finde ich.
exakt.
Also für
Genau.
3 Tinten.
Genau.
Ja.
Vielleicht schaut man ja wirklich ein Madrigal-Deck zu bauen. Endlich mal ein richtiges Themendeck.
Ja, vielleicht wird dadurch Bernstein auch nochmal viel interessanter, ne?
Ja.
Julieta, oh,
Julieta.
das Artwork finde ich echt geil. Das ist ziemlich gut, ey.
Mega, das Artwork ist fantastisch. Thorsten, das ist super. Ich habe Hunger. Die hat was in der Hand.
Was hat die in der Hand? Ich sehe das gar nicht so richtig. Hier ist das nicht so eine Tortilla oder so?
When you play this character, you
weiß
may
ich nicht,
remove up
ist
to 2
lecker aus.
damage from chosen character. If you remove damage
Oh,
in play,
nice.
you may draw
Okay, alles klar. Die hat einen kleinen Rapunzel-Effekt.
a mini Rapunzel.
Ja, hat sie auch gerade gesagt. Ja, im Mini Rapunzel.
With healing, she draws cards for every damage that you remove, but this kind of like plays into that theme, especially people that love healing up.
Aber guck mal, schon viele Madrigalkarten.
Ja,
ne?
das ist mega.
Du schaffst ohne Probleme
Das Schöne
ein Deck
daran
zu
ist,
bauen.
dass du ja schon dann wirklich auch ein ziemlich starkes Starter-Deck hast, mit dem du ja im Prinzip wahrscheinlich direkt
Ja.
einsteigen kannst.
Wenn die auch alle im Starterdeck sind, aber die zeigen uns die, also wir vermuten ja.
Ich würd fast davon ausgehen, ne? Also es wäre schön, sag ich mal so. Also das wäre echt cool.
And you're seeing the opportunity to play her outside.
Voll
of
cool.
this
Ich
magical
freu mich grad
package
mega.
As well, like she has some versatility here, which is really great.
Ja,
I have
1-4
to
für
say,
3, kostet 4-1.
I can't believe I didn't bring this up earlier, but like I love, and it makes sense that Madrigal is kind of a subtype.
Ja,
almost.
habe ich schon gesagt.
So,
Because Maribel is looking for other Madrigal cards.
yeah, and that makes sense. It totally makes sense that we're not just looking for the Madrigal last name, but we're actually looking for that specific subtype. So
Ja,
I'm
das ist halt ein neuer
curious
Subtype
how
tatsächlich,
that may-
Madrigal. Ziemlich interessant, muss man sagen. Ja.
So that should be all of the Encanto cards that we're showing.
Okay, Encanto zumindest durch.
on
Nein!
The next, we
Was
have,
haben wir denn
we
noch
have a few more
Schönes?
card reveals before we get into talking a little bit more.
Yes! Card Reveals.
Keep bringing the card reveals. We're fine with that.
It won't be card reveals for the whole time, unfortunately.
That's okay.
So yeah,
We're gonna just slowly go through all 200 cards in set
No.
4
Yeah.
during
Ja,
the-
genau, wir gehen alle Karten. Ich schaue jetzt einfach alle
there are
Karten.
a lot of cards, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Haben wir Set 4, Englisch, 204, ist besser als 204, das können wir schon mal sehen an der Nummer.
There it is.
There we
Oh,
go.
boah!
Long Elite Archer.
Was ist das für ein Mulan?
Nice.
Das ist eine Legendary!
Oh, nice. Die erste Legendary aus Set 4.
2 strength, 6 willpower. This is our first legendary reveal of the set.
Yeah.
So she
Oh,
has
okay.
shift 5. I skipped the lore again. 2 lore. 2 abilities. The first one, straight shooter. When you play this character, if you use shift to play her, she gets plus 3
Das ist aber auch schon ziemlich stark, ne? In der Runde dann direkt plus 3.
The second ability, triple shot. During your turn, whenever this character deals damage to another character in a challenge, deal the same amount of damage to up to 2 other challenges.
Boah, die Karte
Das
ist gut.
So,
Und endlich mal Mulan.
I mean, this is removal.
Du musst sie shiften, damit die sofort angreifen kann, sonst kann sie nicht sofort angreifen. Aber dann kann sie viel Schaden
Das
anrichten.
ist mega krass, ey. Da kannst du im Prinzip ja 15 Punkte Schaden, wenn ich das richtig gelesen habe.
Ja.
Verteilen.
Das ist
da kannst
heftig.
du fast schon Boardwipe mitmachen.
Are excited.
Ja, und das Coole ist,
This is so Mulan Fletcher.
welche guten Mulans haben wir momentan?
Shift targets for her right now.
Ja, genau, das, was Erin gerade sagt.
Yeah.
There might be some more in the set.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Ja, da müsste es coole Mulan geben. Aber Leute, eine Sache, wo wir noch einen Short machen wollten tatsächlich. Schaut mal, das ist eine Legendary. Die Legendary ab Set 3 haben ein Frame Break. Das bedeutet, man kann sehen, der Bogen, der Pfeil, die gehen über den Rand hinaus. Der Fuß von Mulan ist sozusagen in diesem roten Bereich. Das haben die Legendaries aus Set 1 und 2 nicht, falls das nie jemand gesehen hat. Achtet mal drauf. Alle Legendaries ab Set 3 haben Frame Breaks. Ziemlich coole Sache. Ist mir erst gestern aufgefallen.
Cool.
Ruby loves removing, banishing characters using removal. So this plays right into it, and the fact that
Boah, richtig coole Karte. Artwork, sehr gut. Die sieht sehr gefährlich aus, ey. Und vor allem, guck mal bitte, wie schön. Sie hält 3 Pfeile, Thorsten. Weil sie natürlich durch den Effekt 3-mal 5 Schaden, 5 Schaden, 5
Ja,
Schaden
das
machen
ist
kann.
nice. Das ist echt cool, ja. Was ich auch cool finde, dass die Pfeile außerhalb des Rahmens sind. Ja. Ne? Also das ja, was du ja meinst.
Ja, stimmt, sogar das ist
Also
sogar
das ist
das
sozusagen dann noch
voll.
zusätzlichen Frame Break. Einmal oben der Bogen
Ja.
mit seinem Wurfarm sozusagen, der da über den Rahmen rausgeht und dann die Pfeilspitze da. Das ist echt cool. Oh Mann, ey. Mann, ich habe noch mehr Bock als sonst. Ey.
Mega
We
gut.
have a frame break. We kind of have like a little
Oh,
thing up in the top
haben die auch gesagt.
right.
Nice.
Was denn?
Frame even is creeping
Ich hab's gerade nicht
into the
zugehört.
piece.
Seht ihr, Thorsten, siehst du, dass da so Schattententakel sind?
Ja.
In particular.
Ah, und
Oben
unten
rechts in der Textbox.
Ach so, wegen Ursulas
Was ist
Rückkehr.
das? Ja, wegen Ursulas
Nice.
Return.
Absolutely.
Ah, das haben sie vorher so nicht gehabt, oder?
Jetzt ist mir nicht.
Oder ist mir das nicht aufgefallen?
Ja, weiß ich nicht genau. Hatten die anderen Karten das auch?
Ja, also mir ist es nicht aufgefallen. Falls ihr da was gesehen habt, dann
Environment. around.
Also
the
ich schaue
border
auf jeden Fall
as
nachher nach.
well. So you see things that remind you of being underwater, or kind of like tentacles, but not exactly Ursula's tentacles in those shapes.
I love that so much.
And then I believe we have 2 more cards to show for now.
2 weitere Karten.
Mickey Mouse, Playful Sorcerer. So,
Guck mal, das
you
ist
know,
eine
we
Rare
have
und die hat das
Fantasia,
auch mit den Tentakeln
in the
da.
game, but Sorcerer's Apprentice has kind of been hinted at, and people have been, you know, wanting more of Sorcerer's Apprentice. But now we have here Mickey Mouse, Playful Sorcerer, the Sorcerer's Apprentice for the first
Mein
time.
Broom-Deck! Mein Broom-Deck! Ich kann endlich ein
Das
Broom-Deck
wolltest du doch
besser!
schon die ganze Zeit
Broom-Deck.
bauen.
Ja, aber das ist noch nicht. Da fehlt noch was. Das ist super.
Skip the lore again to lore. And resist 1 with an ability, sweep away. When you play this character,
Und
deal
resist
damage
1,
to chosen
okay.
character equal to the number of broom characters you have.
Ja! Cool.
So, in that broom deck.
Yeah.
Komm, gib uns noch ein paar Brooms in diesem Set.
Ja, aber jetzt kommt ja nur noch eine, ne?
If you're playing brooms, you're playing
Ja,
Amethyst
stimmt.
Steel. You know, there was a lot of speculation on where are they going with brooms. Is there going to be a broom in every color? But it lives pretty.
Ja, ich bin mal echt gespannt. Ich bin auch mal gespannt, wie lange das insgesamt jetzt noch geht. Also wir haben jetzt eine Dreiviertelstunde hinter uns.
Ja.
Vielleicht könnt ihr uns ja so ein paar Tipps geben, was wir vielleicht, wenn wir nochmal sowas machen sollten, was wir vielleicht noch anders machen sollten. Ob wir vielleicht auch noch ein bisschen vielleicht übersetzen sollen, falls euer Englisch dann nicht dafür ausreichend ist oder sowas, oder irgendwie unterstützen können oder sowas. Oder noch mehr Hintergrundwissen. Wir haben jetzt versucht, so ein bisschen was einfließen zu lassen. Ja, oder ob euch das überhaupt nicht interessiert und wir das dann direkt wieder einstellen sollen.
Boah, ich mag das Artwork sehr auch.
Nee, echt gut.
Gefällt mir wirklich sehr. Vor allem, Fun Fact, ich glaube, Sorcerer waren bislang fast ausschließlich in Amethyst enthalten. Und das ist ein Sorcerer.
Ja, das stimmt.
Interessant.
Ja, gutes Argument. Ich glaube, das war so, ne?
Ich bin mir nicht sicher, aber ob es wirklich ausschließlich schon war, aber die meisten sind alle in Amethyst.
Vielleicht wird dadurch jetzt ja das zweite Set auch nochmal interessanter.
Ja. Also mich interessieren momentan die Tentakel. Ja, ich glaube, der Typ hat das eben auch erklärt, aber wir haben drüber gesprochen. Das ist wahrscheinlich etwas, was wir beim nächsten Mal besser machen müssen. Dass wir vielleicht so wie jetzt nicht immer drüber sprechen, während die anderen reden.
Ja.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Floodborne, which from a story standpoint, that I had been trying to bring up with people in the community a lot, is that there was this understanding that people had that Floodborne meant specifically non-canonical, and a lot of times it does. But this being Mickey Mouse, he's slightly different from the normal Mickey Mouse, the canon typical version of Mickey Mouse. So a Floodborne does bring out something that's there in the character all along.
Yeah, you'll actually see us explore a little bit more of what you were just talking about, what it means to be a Floodborne Glimmer, what's different about them, or what that means from set to set as well. You'll see us explore that a little bit more, and so this is probably the first opportunity where you're starting to see some of those differences.
And shout out to Alice Pizzoni again. I mean, just
Ja, Alice, Italienerin nämlich, die das gezeichnet hat.
an incredible artist.
And for the last of
Glaube ich
these,
zumindest, dass Italienerin ist.
Card-Reveals in this section,
Vielleicht vertue ich mich jetzt auch.
one more from Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Komm, gib mir noch so einen Broom. Noch einen Broom.
The sorcerer himself,
Jetzt, noch eine Legendary.
Die sieht auch cool aus irgendwie, ne?
Okay. Ja, mega.
Interessant.
Und achtet auch hier wieder Frame Break mit der Hand.
One lore. Got it.
Nailed it.
Oh mein Gott, also das Broom-Deck lebt.
Oder wir
Leute,
zum Leben
Broom-Deck.
erweckt.
Ich mache mir Broom-Deck.
Magic broom in play, you may draw a card. Second ability,
Broom deck.
While you have 2 or more broom characters in play, this character gets +2 lore. So
Mein Besendeck,
yeah,
Leute.
Amethysteel,
Mit alles
this card
aufräumen,
being
alles sauber
legendary.
machen.
So our second
Ich freu mich.
legendary reveal.
You guys,
Und sei es nur ein
people who've
Fun-Deck.
been
Ich werde es auf alle
calling
Fälle
for room
bauen.
meta are just,
It's here.
it has arrived.
Ich glaube, es könnte gut funktionieren.
Room Meta!
Yes, that's the engine. That is the engine.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think about, as we're looking at this, lines of play.
Boah, die Karte sieht
knowing that
cool
this is
aus,
a
ey.
cross character, but looking at trying to get 2 brooms in play and then playing instead, to then quest and as a casual player, my brain does not compute that fast enough, but I think it's really
No, he can serve as a closer, right? Like he's a 3 lore character in this deck when you set the conditions. So he's good anytime in the game if he draws you a card and replaces himself. But then you're building up towards him getting 3 lore, and then he can kind of close out the game. I love it.
There were people when we announced the Lorecast that were guessing on things like what are they going to announce, what are they going to reveal, and I saw one person that was like, I want Yensid more than anything. I was like, we are going to make that person in particular very happy today.
I hope you're watching that person.
Aber das Artwork ist so gut, ey. Guck mal bitte, das Lilane, wie sich das reflektiert im Bart und am Ärmel. Voll schön, das rosa Lilane da. Ne?
Sieht echt cool
Hammer.
aus.
Richtig
The
cool.
reason for that, if you caught it in the beginning, is that when you purchase a Lumineer's Quest, you're actually getting Mulan in one deck. It comes with 2 player
Ich hoffe, die
decks.
gehen noch mal kurz
One
auf
of the
die
decks, you're
Promos
actually
ein.
getting that Mulan card, and in the other deck, you're getting Yensid and Mickey. So they come in the Illumineer's Quest in these player decks that are built for Illumineer's Quest.
Stark!
I kind of want to take that to go over to talk more with you about Illumineer's Quest. The announcement that there is a co-op mode for Disney Lorcana that has been held back all this time, but the story has been leading to having this co-op mode, play with your friends.
Super.
Das ist schon ziemlich cool, ne?
TCGs
Ich freue mich mega
Also
drauf.
der
Das kann ich vielleicht dann
Koop-Modus.
mit.
where you're always playing against someone. But
Vielleicht kriege ich gerade wieder doch dabei.
we saw this as an opportunity that for Disney
Und da sind die mit drinnen,
Lorcana,
ne? Da ist
Disney
einmal Mulan drin und Yensid auch. Also ziemlich
One
cool.
of the best things would be to find out ways that we can have people play together, but you're not necessarily just competing with each other. And at
Okay.
the same time, it's so tied into the story. This is the end
Und
of the story.
das ist auch
This
sehr
is the end of this
Ravensburger
Ursula story
like,
that
sag ich
has
mal,
been
ne?
kind of
Ja.
teased, and I hope people go back and look at the first 3 sets and see where there's been pieces and hints and all that. There are stories that are in there that people, at least I haven't seen people pick up and connect the dots yet, that are actually going to play out the conclusion of in this Illumineer's Quest. It's going to answer things for people that have been having questions about what happened in this story, what happened in this one. So, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts about that?
I mean, when we thought about, we were coming here and we were like, these are the things we expect. Of course, we thought, set 4 and a bunch of other stuff. And a co-op mode, a product like this, a game mode like this, didn't even occur to us. So when I saw it, I was shocked and excited. For a lot of players, I think, confrontational play is fun. But I do think that people, especially families, friends, are looking for opportunities to play in a different way, to play, cooperatively. And so the idea
Ich
of
denke
you
auch,
versus
das
the
passt
board,
schon. Also,
you
dass das
versus the
jetzt viel
character,
interessanter
you
auch für
trying to
Familien
achieve,
ist.
Some sort of end state with all of
Oder
your
eben
friends.
allgemein
I
dieses,
think is
andere
so
Art
wonderful.
zu spielen.
And,
Ne? Nicht immer dieses
I also
Gegeneinander
love it as an
automatisch
exclamation
oder so,
point to the
sondern
story.
dass du dann das
The
Teamwork
story
auch damit dann
is,
förderst.
to me, is one of the things
Ziemlich
that makes
cool.
Lorcana so special. It's the narrative that works its way into the details of the card art, the details of the abilities, and that narrative supports a lot of the game. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited for the game mode, and I'm excited for the story.
I'm struggling here because I honestly feel like words cannot accurately describe how excited I am for this and how much this game mode means to me personally as a player.
Yeah.
When Liam and I first met, and kind of at the beginning of our relationship and our marriage, I was not a board game player.
Oh, Stocker. Na,
played Life with my family. I
Okay.
played Monopoly, you know, your traditional American board games. And because I didn't grow up with that, you know, I had siblings. My brothers, you know, played American football and, you know, all of these sorts of things. They were really competitive, and I was never really a competitive person. I did dance and art and that sort of thing. And so one of the biggest hurdles for me in board games is this competitive nature, because I'm just not naturally competitive. And in TCGs even, that is a hurdle
Oh, doch ein bisschen mehr Probleme.
I have to
Yeah.
overcome as a person, because I'm not naturally a competitive player, which is why I really enjoy casual play. I love playing with my family and the like.
Ja, aber das, was ihr sagt, ist absolut richtig halt. Ne? Das ist das, was wir auch mal in unseren Videos aufgegriffen haben. Dass jeder das vielleicht auch anders spielt. Man kann auch 1 gegen 1 Casual spielen, ne? Ohne diesen kompetitiven Drang zu haben. Man baut Fun-Decks, zum Beispiel ein Besendeck. Und das ist nicht dafür da, um zu gewinnen, sondern eher um Spaß zu haben. Aber jetzt, mit so einem Modus, macht das natürlich noch viel cooler, sag ich mal. Ne? Wie gesagt, ich werde bestimmt versuchen, Kati da jetzt mit reinzunehmen und sagen, hey Schatzi, wollen wir mal vielleicht eine Partie spielen? Es ist zusammenkommen. Es ist hier kooperativ.
Ja.
Vielleicht schaffe ich das ja mal.
Ja, das
Gucken.
Schöne daran ist ja dann eben, dass man dann auch unterschiedliche Decks spielen kann, die einen also gegenseitig unterstützen, um dann das auszugleichen, was das eigene Deck vielleicht nicht kann an der Stelle. Ne?
Ja, das werden wir noch sehen. Also ich habe keine Ahnung, wie dieses Quest
Nee,
funktioniert.
genau, richtig. Aber also das könnte ich mir jedenfalls
Ob
vorstellen.
das vielleicht mit Decks funktioniert? Ja, mal gucken, ja. Ich denke, es ist schon logisch, dass es Decks sein sollten, ne? Tatsächlich, weil sonst passt das ja irgendwie nicht. Aber mal gucken. Vielleicht machen ja doch eine Art Brettspiel draus oder irgendwie so. Keine Ahnung.
I'm sorry, I'm going to get emotional, y'all. Thank you guys so much for doing that. I think it's just going to change the way people around the world
Ah,
experience.
das ist aber süß von ihr.
I will,
Das ist schön
I will
gesagt.
bring
Schöne
up
Erklärung
when
gemacht.
we were watching it
Mit der
here
Beziehung.
along with
Schön.
everyone. You know, there were things that you guys were like, oh, that's so cool, or oh my gosh, like, and like reacting to. But when Ryan said our first cooperative game mode for Disney Lorcana, like, you shouted, like you were so excited, where you were like, I can't believe this is happening. I know you're
No.
tearing
No,
up
that's
right now,
okay.
but, like,
That's okay. I'm not kidding, y'all. I am actually, like, there is a tear in my eye. Like, it's so
Ah, das ist
amazing.
süß.
And I'm so grateful that y'all think about the community as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, you have people who love competitive play.
Ja, stimmt.
But you have families. You have people like me who
Yeah.
just, you know,
Ja, das finde ich
wanna
echt
sit
ziemlich
around a
gut.
table like this and
Also die Bandbreite an verschiedenen Spielern oder Interessenten ist dadurch auch deutlich höher. Also so Publikum, so diversifiziert.
Yeah, yeah.
Ziemlich geil.
Ja.
I think that this is going to be able to do that.
Und vor allen Dingen, die haben ja eben gezeigt, dass es Promos geben wird für die ganzen Challenge-Circuit. Das bedeutet, jemand, der trotzdem kompetitiv spielen möchte, da gibt es jetzt auch Promos, die dich dafür rewarden, dass du das machst. Aber dennoch bringen die jetzt einen kooperativen Modus raus, was ich sehr cool finde, muss ich sagen. Alle werden bedient. Ich mag das sehr.
Gaming, if you believe that games matter and that they make the world a better place, and that the more people that play games or are introduced to this hobby is good, then the more ways that people have to play and experience games, it's just better.
Yeah.
And so the more avenues that we can give people into LGSs, into Lorcana, into TCGs, into board games, I just think it's better. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that happens with trading card games a lot of the time is that someone might say, oh, that looks really interesting to me, maybe I'll just collect it, but I'm not someone that likes playing games against other people. This gives a new avenue where you can jump into Disney Lorcana and play it, and you don't have to compete against anyone. You can work together. There are,
Also ich finde das richtig
you
gut,
can, you can play
muss ich
solo
sagen.
also.
Ja,
so
ich
if you
auch.
just wanna
Thorsten,
play
mega.
by yourself,
Ich freue mich auch voll drauf.
you can
Mega.
do that. It uses the same
Ich würde mich dann
player
auch
decks
fragen,
as
ob es dann
Disney
vielleicht auch
Lorcana.
solche
You may
Turniere
need
dann
to,
in
like,
diesem
make a
Stil
deck
gibt.
specifically for co-op,
Also
because now
2
you have to
gegen
think
2.
about, you know, there are cards
Nein, das
that
glaube ich nicht, weil du
that-
spielst ja gegen das
that were
Spiel.
Ja,
very
gut, aber-
heavy
Also ich vermute, das wird sowas wie Marvel Champions sein. Du hast wahrscheinlich Ursula als Endgegner. Ich vermute es jetzt nur, ne? Und du spielst mit, also ich weiß nicht, ob das nur zu zweit geht, vielleicht auch zu viert. Du spielst gegen Ursula. Irgendwie muss Ursula stärker werden, du musst Ursula besiegen. So stelle ich mir das halt vor. Ich weiß nicht, ob das wirklich so
I
ist.
wouldn't have played against another player because they'll just remove it. Now it's like, oh, I can support my friend and
Ja.
we can like get through
Oh
this
Mann,
together.
ich freue mich echt drauf. Oh, shit.
But yeah, you can, out of a box of Illuminator's Quest, Deep Trouble is the first scenario. So this is the end of that Ursula story.
Siehst du?
If
Kampagnen,
you
first
play
scenario.
that, you can
Guck
play
mal.
by yourself,
Oh, ich
you
will
can
die
play
Stopp
with one
machen.
friend. out of the
Okay, aber die
box,
Karten
you
kennen wir
don't
alle.
need anything else.
Only the victors.
If you have
Oh, claim the
additional
prize
Disney Lorcana
within.
player decks, you can play with up to
Geil,
4
das sieht
players.
so cool aus. Ein für zwei
So,
Spieler steht da, siehst
For
du.
those of you that already have your own decks, I mean, this is another.
Jetzt aber die Frage, ist das nur einmal spielbar oder mehrmals? Weil da ist ein Päckchen, was zu ist.
There's 4 varying difficulty levels.
Das muss man sehen. Aber du kannst auch alleine spielen. Ah, ich freue mich sehr. Und mein Gott, diese Ursula sieht so hammer aus. Die sieht richtig böse aus und düster und finster.
Hard and super hard. Because the easy one is not that easy.
Do you speak from experience, Matthew?
Oh mein Gott, ich freue mich so sehr drauf.
I will just
Das ist
say,
wie Marvel Champion, 100 Pro. Ich habe gesehen, da war ein Deck. Du musst wahrscheinlich gegen Ursula spielen. Das ist super cool. Ich freue mich voll.
There was this gold pack that has a message, a contract. Ursula is known for her contracts. You cannot
Oh, ja.
open that until you have defeated Ursula. We won't tell you what's in
deswegen.
that pack, but make sure if you're invested in the story.
Nope.
Oh nein, nicht wieder Stocker. Komm schon. Wahrscheinlich ist da ein Enchanted drin oder so. Dann darf man echt, wenn man das kauft, darf man kein Internet mehr gucken, weil sonst spoilert dir jemand, was da drin ist. Dann muss man am besten spielen und versuchen, Ursula zu besiegen und dann dieses Päckchen
You do
aufmachen.
not open.
I think I told the story of our life, so I'm gonna just.
Well,
Yeah.
no, and you said a lot of things that really resonate. One of our favorite ways to play is 2v2 because there are cards. You know, to your point, there's some amazing cards. You know, Coconut Basket, for example, heal any character. It's a great card in multiplayer when you have teammates to support, but it's a card.
Ja, leider.
Ja, bleibt nicht aus, ne?
That probably
Ja, ich
you probably
meine,
didn't see it in the bulk box. And then you,
fast
you know, you dig in
4.000
there and you find
Zuschauer.
cards. You can build this
Wer
really
weiß.
awesome deck for a specific game mode, and they become valuable in that game mode. So I love that. I love cooperative games again because it's a way to teach people how to play. Not only give them a way to play that where you're not competitive, but where you can sit somebody down next to you, you can look at their hand and you can kind of coach them through, you know, what you would do.
Yep.
That is because whenever you're teaching people to play, oftentimes there's a feel bad moment where you're like, I know the right thing to do is to challenge and remove your character, but if I do that, it feels bad, but I want to show you the right thing to do. So, but anyway, I think it's great. I can't rave enough about the product. And the sealed envelope is a fantastic idea. You know, I really hope people, you know, keep that off the internet to let everybody
Ja,
experience that for
ich
themselves.
glaube nicht, dass das passieren wird. Internet
What a
ist nun
fun
mal so.
moment, to get to open that with a group.
Sofort aufmachen und posten, na, muss man echt die Augen fernhalten.
Yeah, I mean, one last thing about Illuminator's Quest before we move on. Do not spoil it for people.
Bitte,
it is story.
bitte,
It is
Leute.
heavily story-based. Do not spoil it for people. We're
Das wäre voll
actually,
traurig, da macht man den
as a
ganzen
rule,
Spielspaß
making
kaputt.
sure that we're not sharing everything that's in there, and we're especially not sharing what's in the contract card.
Oh my God.
but,
Oh,
we are not sharing what the story is ahead of time. We want people to experience it for the first time playing it. I know spoilers are going to get out there, but yeah. And then because spoilers are going to get out there, if you're someone that hates spoilers, protect yourself. Mute Illuminator's
Wie ich
Quest,
gesagt
you
habe,
probably mute
100 Pro.
Lorcana around the release of the set. But yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna move on from Illuminator's Quest.
We do a whole show on Illuminator's Quest.
We really could.
I will also say for everything that we're talking about here, there is going to be the product page. I don't know if it's already live on DisneyLorcana.com, but you can find all of that info on DisneyLorcana.com on our socials.
Okay.
So yeah, I think what we want to do is take a break from Ursula for a bit. It's been a lot of Ursula so far, but we're going to talk about Disney Lorcana Challenge. So what did you think of the
Ja.
cards?
Infos, competitive.
Gosh, we do a whole
Ja,
show.
geht dann doch mehr als gedacht, ne? Sind jetzt ja auch schon.
And we probably will.
Let's pull up Dragonfire. Oops.
Oh, die ist
Boah,
so cool.
diese
Let's pull up
Rapunzel,
Dragonfire.
Alter.
Man,
Boah,
that's so good.
boah. Oh
I have to
my
say, as
goodness.
they're pulling up this,
Wunderschön.
Ja,
one
die
of
ist
the
wirklich
things Liam and I
total
always
schick.
do when we see a new card is immediately look at who the artist is. It's like your eyes look at the art. I think for us, my eyes look at the art, my eyes
Ja,
look
das
at
ist
the
auch
artist, and
mega.
then
Wunderschön.
what can this card do? And especially with cards we know their ability.
Die bekommt man schon bei der Teilnahme,
Ja,
Thorsten.
mega.
Also da haben wir Glück. Das heißt, die können wir wenigstens noch mitnehmen.
Ja, das sind doch mal echt
Die anderen
Promo-Karten,
wird
ne?
komplizierter, glaube ich.
This is a card. everyone that goes to a Disney Lorcana Challenge
Ja.
and plays in the main event of a Disney Lorcana Challenge.
Darauf freue ich mich schon,
will
ey.
get that Dragonfire
Das ist
card,
nochmal so dieses echte,
by being
wirklich
there.
Special, ne?
So,
Ja.
you know, this was the first action card, I believe, that everyone had seen.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Y'all
we
did
thought
the
it was
puzzle piece to reveal it. Oh, so
we thought that it would be fitting if the first action card that everyone saw was also the first card
Also ich finde die Karte einfach
Ja.
fantastisch.
in
Haben
this
sie echt schick
competitive
gemacht.
play that's more action oriented. So yeah, it has extended artwork. It has this unique
fantastisch.
foil that's not used on cards in the booster packs.
Oh,
But we're getting to see more.
ich bin so
of
gehypt
it.
gerade. Ich
And
freue
even
mich so
the,
sehr.
the vines, the bramble on the bottom,
Yeah, I love
even
how that goes
breaking
over
into
text
the
box.
even
Yeah.
breaking into the text box, overlapping with it.
Yeah, it's a different style even than Enchanted cards, the way that you're breaking the text box and
Ja,
doing things.
genau.
And
Ist
I
anders.
do love that you use Dragonfire, and I love that you use this piece, because for those who've actually looked at Dragonfire a little bit or played with it, we're seeing so much more of the piece here. When you actually if you imagine the frame on the Dragonfire card, it's
Ja.
so
es
such
ist
a
zu,
small piece
ja.
of that art that we're really seeing more of the story here. We're seeing the brambles, we see the shadow of Maleficent in the background.
Und guck mal, die Dornen
Ja,
unten
mega,
auch,
ne?
die ragen dann nach oben dann, ne? Auf die Textbox, über der Textbox. Ich finde das
I
super.
love like how I don't know if that's going to be the foiling, but it almost looks like it's like pulsating a little bit, and it's
Boah, ja, was für eine
It-
Karte.
the-
Respekt. Luis Huerta,
leader of
super
the
gemacht.
Dragonfire itself.
Wirklich.
Can we ask about the foiling? Are you ready to? What is it?
Can we ask you about foiling?
What about it?
What is it like on this card? You said it's unique.
That's what it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it has like.
Also das ist dann wirklich so. Mhm.
Yeah, so that swirl pattern is the foiling.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. That's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna.
If you notice, you talked about the
Entschuldigung.
artist, right? Luis Huerta. We went back to the original artist because the original art was not full frame, right? So we had them fill in and continue the illustration on the parts that you're seeing here that you don't see in the regular card.
I do love it.
And then the next one is Let It Go. Ryan referred to this
Oh,
as
Let
the
It
day
Go.
one performance card. He had mentioned that it was something for what that roughly means is top 64. We'll get into a little bit more
Echt schick.
details on how there could be more than
Top 64, Thorsten. Vielleicht könnten wir das auch schaffen.
Schauen wir mal, ne?
But I do want to show all these cards and talk about them a little
Aber
bit
dann wird's-
before
dann wird's,
we go
kritisch,
a
glaub
little
ich.
bit more into that.
Nice
Yeah,
team.
competitive, yeah.
So
So we'll get to the
stay
competition.
tuned.
Stay tuned for the competition. Yeah.
Boah,
but now to
hübsch,
celebrate
ey.
these cards. Everything that we said before applies to this one as well. I mean, it's a brilliant trick. What I will say is I really love the fact, the same way that with the playmats you're going back and doing beloved cards and bringing it forward and honoring it with the accessories. Same here. I love that you all have gone back and found cards that players use, that they love, that mean something to the community, and
Ja,
you're
stimmt.
doing something special with it. So it resonates with people in an emotional way.
I absolutely agree, and I think y'all are bringing a whole new level to rainbow foiling, the concept of it in these cards.
Stell dir mal vor, jemand spielt viermal diese Let It Go dann in seinem Deck oder so.
Unbelievable. I can't
Tja,
wait to
warum nicht, ne?
Ich würde es wahrscheinlich machen, wenn ich sie hätte.
my hand and move it around. There is a guy who plays in our local community who we always say his deck is completely tricked out. Like he plays with Enchanted.
All Enchanted.
His entire deck is foil. He's a very, very good player. I am looking forward to and it's intimidating when he comes up to you and he throws down an Enchanted on the table. You're like, oh, you're not moving around. Okay. And so I am imagining people actually playing with these cards.
Oh yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think, and having these cards in their deck and it being a little bit of a badge of honor,
Yeah.
that you competed in this, and I'm really excited.
Oh
about
Mann, ey. Ich bin so pumped gerade. Oh,
decks.
Hammer.
The next one, Cinderella Stouthearted for top
Oh,
32.
das- Oh Gott, Top 32.
Doch,
Thorsten.
das müssen wir
And
schaffen.
The next one that we're going to talk about. Happens a lot in conversations where people
Boah, das sieht so
Sieht echt
cool
mega
aus.
cool aus.
Stouthearted
Muss ich
was
echt
gonna be
sagen.
one
Vor
of
allem
the
die anderen zwei waren ja noch in den richtigen Artwork, ne, Thorsten? Also wie wir sie kennen, Let It Go und Dragonfire. Aber dieses Cinderella ist ja komplett in eine andere Position jetzt.
artwork in addition
Boah,
to
ey.
Echt mega.
for Cinderella Stouthearted.
Die ist
It's going to top
fantastisch.
32. And that one is
Top
also
32.
top 32.
Und wieder Alice Pisoni. Brava.
Yeah, what do you guys think about the new artwork?
Oh,
This is one of the most beautiful cards I've ever seen, and
die Karte ist einfach nur Hammer.
I can't say more than
No
that.
notes.
the homage to the original style of the character, the pose, the color, the way the foiling enhances the treatment. Yeah, it's a fantastic card, and I think people are going to be really excited to get a hold of this.
And I love that you guys, you had, you have Let It Go, you have Dragonfire, which are very much true to the original art, and
Genau
kind of
das.
honoring the original art that we saw. And then, like when Ryan was doing these, when we saw this, I was like, oh, and they're doing new art too. And so
Ja, Rapunzel war eben ja auch neu, ne?
a mix of
Rapunzel.
both, and we're having an opportunity to see her in a completely kind of
Oh
new way
mein
than we saw
Gott,
her in the
die sieht so
Sieht
hammer
wirklich
aus.
gut aus, ja.
And let's see Rapunzel gifted with healing in a new way.
Ja,
I mean, Rapunzel gifted with healing.
ja, hatten
My
wir.
favorite card.
It is my favorite card.
Die ist fantastisch
So,
auch.
Ryan mentioned during his segment
Ja, wirklich
about
echt
abusing
cool.
his power for that Tinkerbell playmat.
Dann ist das Top 16 wahrscheinlich, Thorsten.
Ja.
Gifted with healing.
Ach, weiterhin in unserer Reichweite, würde ich sagen.
So,
Von wegen, wir armen Schlucker. Wir werden uns nur mit Dragonfire
Ja, wir werden es sehen. Wir halten euch auf dem
Wir werden's
Disney
Laufenden.
Lorcana Challenge events. You can earn a Rapunzel gifted with healing. Like,
I mean, no notes. Again, these cards are they're fantastic. I mean, we've said it already. The full art treatment, going back and honoring previous characters that people love, and
Vor allem die Haare auch, dass sie sich nach unten schlängeln, ne? Unter der Textbook, ich finde es einfach fantastisch.
In a very different pose than she is in the original card.
Ja, einfach nur mega.
Grace's piece we see on the bottom.
Yep,
Yeah.
great strand.
I have no notes. Like these cards are going to be.
Ich muss sagen, der Lorecast, der überrascht mich jetzt schon. Also da sind ein paar coole Infos,
Absolut,
coole
ja.
Sachen, die man gesehen hat.
Speaking of Lorcana,
Das,
going
boah,
all the way back to
momentan
2023,
mega zufrieden.
September 2022. Y'all at Ravensburg, you just keep doing really cool and unique things with foiling. Things that I think we haven't really seen before, and so you're doing it again. and it's so great to see. Again, I can't wait to actually hold these cards in my hand. I hope I have an opportunity to do that and actually experience foiling.
I hope so
Ja,
too.
die auch, wenn wir sie denn kriegen, ne?
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
and one thing to keep in mind on the rarity symbol, that is the symbol that's going forward will be used for organized play.
Okay.
So,
Ja, also das ist
we're
das
seeing
neue
it here.
Symbol
These
dann.
cards are
Ja.
only available through Disney Lorcana Challenge. This won't show up.
Also nur wenn man Challenges macht, kann man solche Karten
Also
bekommen.
Specifically
Finde ich aber gut. Für die kompetitiven Player wieder ein
Ja.
Anreiz.
Ja.
Also ich finde es gut.
Moving on to the top 8 prize, though. We're
Now
using
top
the
8.
same artwork of Rapunzel gifted with healing for a top 8 playmat.
Oh.
Ah.
Okay.
So there is going to be foiling
Nice.
on the playmat as well.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ach was, das Foiling?
Some
Wie
foiling
der
soll das denn
Playmat?
gehen? Oh, da muss man ja
It's meant to
aufpassen,
be
ey, wenn man die dann
incredibly
nachher...
special. When we talked about Badge of Honor, when you're playing the
Also ich
game,
mag das
this is
Artwork
meant to
sehr.
be
Ich finde auch die
Badge of
Playmat
Honor.
cool.
If you get one of these,
Wenn ich aber entscheiden dürfte, würde ich glaube ich lieber die Karte aber haben von Top
Ich
16.
weiß es nicht, also ich will beides gerne haben. Ne?
Who is really good at
Ich meine, da
Lorcana.
steht halt Challenge drauf, ne? Dass du dann wirklich, also wenn du die Matte hast,
Schon geil.
dann,
Und dann am besten noch
bist
die
du halt Top
Champions
8.
daneben.
ja, aber das ist ja Top 8, eine große Challenge, ne? Thorsten, ich vermute, so Challenge-Events haben sehr viele Teilnehmer. Das sind keine Locals, ne? Wie eine Set-Meisterschaft ist ja mehr im Local-Bereich.
And intimidating, I think, is the wrong word.
Boah,
because I
das ist
also
halt dann
get the
wirklich große. Ich hoffe 400, 500 Teilnehmer. Ich weiß es nicht, ob ich übertreibe, aber so denke ich halt. Keine Ahnung.
Abwarten, ne?
Competitive players
Ja.
almost always, in my experience, are willing to teach in a really kind way newer, more casual players. And so having an opportunity to learn from someone, and you definitely know if you go to a local and that playmat rolls out in front of you, you know that this is somebody that I can learn from. And
Das ist dann richtig flexen. Jetzt den Local und tust die Championship-Matte rein. Ja, hallo.
In addition to that playmat, the top 8 players will all qualify for a championship in their respective region. If you
Okay.
top 8 a Disney Lorcana Challenge in North America, you'll actually earn an invite to the North American Championship. And again, in Europe, if you top 8, you'll earn a qualification for Disney Lorcana, the European Championship for Disney Lorcana Challenge. We have a few prizes from here on that we're not quite ready to share in terms of images or announcements for, other than, Ryan mentioned, and we had that little like blurred pixelated version of it, intentionally to hide it. But we're incredibly excited that we have a serialized Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor, kind of the mascot of the announcement of the game. And that's for the
Serialized,
top four.
Leute.
So those cards are serialized. You actually will know.
Das heißt
like,
hier.
I have the one version of this card. And again, we'll share all of that information on how, like, the serialization.
Und ich rede hier von Tausenden von Euros.
Ja,
ne?
wahrscheinlich,
Tausenden von
aber
Euros.
muss man abwarten, ne?
But those are going to be
Echt krass.
some pretty valuable cards if you get top 4 at a Disney Lorcana challenge.
That's
Whoa.
amazing. I love this serialization, and what's fun about it to me is I love history and I love things with stories, and you will forever be able to tie specific numbers to specific players who earned that card. So even if later on the card becomes available and somebody else purchases it, you know where that card came from and who earned it, which is super cool to me.
Whoa.
And yeah, that card will have alternate artwork as well. It's not the same Brave Little Tailor that you've seen before.
Okay.
I think people are really going to be blown away by it. But yeah, the card's entirely gold design. Being able to capture it perfectly on this stream is why we're not showing it.
Okay.
We really need.
Das heißt dann, die glänzt wahrscheinlich auch.
We need to like kind of give it its own space when we reveal it, aside from Lorecast. So it's gonna come later. It'll be an announcement where we really show off how this looks in person. And so yeah, the images for that, all those the prizing for second and first place. That's going to be shared on DisneyLorcana.com very soon. But that said, of course, we've seen some people in the chat may have already seen on the website, but people want to know the dates of these events, and we're ready to share the first 2 challenge event dates for both North America and Europe. Now, Disney Lorcana Challenge,
In Bochum?
these are open events.
In Bochum,
They are
in
ticketed,
Bochum.
So
Okay.
you'll need
Das
to get a
geht.
ticket for the event.
Boah, Frankreich, Lille.
But the
Oh
first
mein
2
Gott.
in
Ja,
North
Bochum.
America, or the first one in
Oh,
North
6.,
America,
7.
is
Juli.
May 25th to
Krass.
26th in Atlanta, Georgia, and then June 8th and 9th in Chicago, Illinois. There will be 4
Stark
more
aber, dass man die
Disney
Daten
Lorcana
jetzt schon hat.
Challenge events in North America that are
Kann man
to be
anfangen zu planen.
announced. And when I say to be announced, they're going to be announced within the next week or 2. We actually, right as this stream was starting,
Also eine wird wahrscheinlich in Italien sein, gehe ich mal ganz stark davon aus.
Ja, weiß man nicht, ne?
Can you show it on the stream?
Naja,
Well,
es ist Frankreich, es
we
ist
didn't have time
Deutschland.
to make changes
Die andere
here,
Sprache,
but
die
we
man
will
spielt,
announce
ist
them on the
Italienisch.
website
Also vermutlich eine wird in Italien
Ja, aber dann
sein.
ist die Frage,
Und die
dann,
andere
ne?
weiß ich tatsächlich nicht.
Spanisch, Portugiesisch.
Same
Ja.
weekend, May 25th and
Nee, aber da
26th
spielst du ja keinen. Also da gibt es gibt nicht die Sprache dafür. Deswegen würde ich fast denken, dass es in Italien
And
ist.
then there will be 2 more European events to be announced.
Aber ist ja nur Spekulation.
Said
Ne?
there's 4 more. These are the first 2 though. So for people looking to book tickets and travel, and get into the action, those are the first 2 they can look to.
Yeah, and these events will be capped at 512 players. So that's the tickets. Right now, the
Siehst
tickets
du?
for these events are capped at 512. They're going to be going.
Also
on
das heißt,
sale
man muss
fairly
sich jetzt
soon.
schon
Again,
bewerben,
we'll
weil nur
announce that on the
500,
website.
aber 500 ist
We'll make
Ende.
sure that we announce
Geil.
on social media.
Krass.
We're Disney Lorcana everywhere on social media. When these tickets
Ja, das
are
wird
going
doch super
on sale,
schnell.
give people
Also
enough
muss man ja
time
echt jetzt
before they go live
sofort ran.
to prepare to get one
Ja.
of those tickets. And there also will be additional ways. I had mentioned that the top 8 qualify for the championship events. There's going to be more ways to qualify. So we can't quite share everything right now. We're still working out some additional details. But I do want to note regarding that we are planning a day 0 last chance qualifier at both the North American and European championships. So, I mean, if people don't understand what that means, technically, the tournament itself, you have to qualify for, but everyone can go and sign up until we hit a cap, but this will be a very large cap. People can go and attend the championship and play in that day 0 event to try and get into the main tournament. And even if you don't qualify to participate in the main tournament, if you're there and join on day 0, worst case scenario, play in side events. We're gonna have lots of them. You don't have to make the main tournament.
Okay.
There's gonna be more that you can do there. Now,
Aber das sind wahrscheinlich die Europameisterschaften. Ich vermute, dass sie davon jetzt spricht.
it's
und die
only the top players that are
Nordamerika-Meisterschaft.
participating in the World Championship
Ich glaube nicht die
event.
Challenge an sich.
But the World Championship itself is going to be held at a larger fan event. I know that we've mentioned
Mein
fan
Gott.
events before. That's not something that we've really talked about. We're not quite ready to share the information on it here.
Okay.
We are going to share more information pretty soon, but not on this stream.
I was like, fan events? Okay.
Yeah.
We can
so,
accept that.
So I know that was a lot of information. If you guys wanna chat
Das
a
war
little
schon
bit
ziemlich
about,
cool
if you have
jetzt.
thoughts about it.
What are we doing in late May?
Boah, mega.
I know, booking plane tickets.
Apparently going to Georgia.
Heading to Atlanta. No, I'm glad the dates are out there. You know, people have been eagerly awaiting. You know, they want to buy their plane tickets. They want to plan their year. There's so many Lorcana events going on. Not only, you know, the events that you just announced, but there's other cons and things to go to, and D23. And so I'm really glad these dates will be available so people can plan out their year. The prizing is amazing, and yeah, I really hope everybody's able to get a ticket that wants to go play.
Jeder.
Oh,
I'm just excited. I'm excited for the announcement.
Ja, er hofft das,
I do
ne?
see
Ob
some
das so ist,
people in
keine
the
Ahnung.
chat questioning the cap of 512. I do want to address that real quick before we talk more about it.
Oh, ja,
If we do see that, you know, 512 caps really quickly,
ja,
this is the starting cap for Disney Lorcana Challenge.
okay.
So these events, you know, we will address it and we will change that if it's something that we need to do.
Das ist
We
gut.
just want to see. We want to see how it goes. We want to sell some tickets first and see how it goes.
Weil ich glaube, dass da potenziell, wenn es nur 4 gibt, in ganz Europa, dann sind 512 Spieler ein bisschen wenig pro Event.
Ja.
Ich denke, das wird dann höher. Ja.
But one more
Also
thing
wenigstens haben die das jetzt
is
eingeworfen.
along
Gut.
those lines of not wanting to keep people out that I very much want to talk about on the stream when it comes to Disney Lorcana Challenge is a new format that we've been working on for day one of those events. It's an alternate way to handle Swiss rounds.
Oh,
To help me talk about this, I'd like to introduce, joining from our German office, Tim Schilder from the game development team. Hi, Tim.
Hello
Hey,
there.
Tim.
Thank you for having me.
hi.
So we're introducing a new Swiss format called 2-game round format, and for other TCGs, there's typically you play best of 1 or best of 3, and we didn't quite feel that was right for Disney Lorcana.
We
We didn't
massive
quite feel
Änderung.
that either one fit perfectly for Disney Lorcana, is what I should say. You know, I had called a meeting with like all these people that work on Disney Lorcana, on Team Lorcana, to kind of plead their case. There's people that preferred best of 1, and there's people that preferred best of 3, and you know, everyone's saying which one they prefer. Everyone gets their chance to speak, and when I went to Tim for his turn, he says, I know I was supposed to answer 1 or 3, but what about 2? And I sort of laughed it off, and I was like, okay, who's speaking next? But he proposed this format where you play 2 games in a round. So, Tim, can you explain how it works for everyone today?
Yeah, of course. So, of course, there is a number between 1 and 3. So we thought 2-game matches kind of make sense for Lorcana for the challenge events because you are awarding or you're getting awarded points for each win you achieve in the match. So if you win 1 game, you get 1 point. If you win 2 games, you get 2 points, but also you will get an additional point for winning 2-0. With this, we can really better in
interessant.
Swiss determine your strengths in the game, and rather than just splitting you in 2 groups with winners or losers after game 1, you will be paired against someone of the same strength with being a 2-0, a 1-1, or
Sehr
a
interessant.
0-2.
Yeah, so, I mean, one of the things that, and I know a lot of people are saying, what, best of 2? It's not best of 2, and we need to
Nein,
be
du
specific
spielst immer
about that.
2.
It is a 2-game round format.
Ja.
Some things that are important about this, you know, there's been a lot of debate in the community about the die roll mattering so much. Who gets to go first matters. In this way, actually both people get an opportunity to go first. So
Stimmt.
when you do the die roll, you're choosing which game you're going first rather than winning the die roll and just immediately going first. and then whoever wins or whoever loses, I'm sorry, gets to choose the next one. This way, both people, it's more akin to sports or esports, where you have sides and you're swapping sides. If there's a side advantage, you can't. There's nothing that using the side advantage matters with. I will say that going first, because people have different reasons for how they value that. There are things where now there's strategy to choosing which game you go first in based on your deck and how you like to play. And Tim, I mean, if you can talk about that even a little bit.
So in our development and also in the testing, we experienced that many players are putting a different strategy into the match, and some prefer going first in the first game to to have no knowledge about the opponent's deck and also to surprise the opponent, while some players prefer to have already some knowledge there and then after winning the dice roll decide to go first in game 2. Also, it's of course worth to mention that there are certain tiebreakers, of course, in the 2-game format. So after looking at the points and the wins, of course, their strength of schedule means that if your opponent is winning 2-0 and having more points, your tiebreaker with strength of schedule that is relying on that is also getting better, which kind of encourages both players to finish the match in time and to always come to a result, since you can always win a point and not win the first game and then lose 2 games and get nothing out of it.
Yeah, and something else, that there's a few things that this solves. Best of 3, obviously, that's what TCGs have been using. So the reaction that, we've done test events with this, the reaction that we get from people that have played other TCGs before they play it has been, why are you doing this? You already know what works. Best of 3 works for other TCGs, so just use best of 3. You have precedent for what works. We want to make sure that we're doing what works for Disney Lorcana, and something that we've been seeing when there are these third-party tournaments that have been happening over the last few months. There's a number of things that there's been feedback over that hasn't been feeling right for us. I mean, people have been reporting that games are taking too long. If they're going against a control mirror, they're not finishing the round. One thing that we don't like is people playing the tournament rather than playing the game. In this scenario, every game matters. There's no
Ja,
there's no
voll,
way
Thorsten.
to, intentional draws.
Desto mehr ich drüber
have something
nachdenke, ich
that's
finde das
happening
cool.
at these
Das ist
third-party
richtig
events.
cool.
There's no way to
Aber da sieht man mal,
do
dass
an
sie sich
intentional
wirklich
draw
Gedanken
on
machen
this,
an der Stelle. Ne?
because
Mega.
you need
Ich habe
to
sowas
set
noch
your
nie
game.
gehört in anderen Spielen. Also wirklich cool, dass sie sich
the
darüber
bonus
Gedanken
Habe ich ja
gemacht
von
haben.
Anfang an
Mega.
gemeint, so
Kind of prevent
Ravensburger,
that,
das ist was
because
anderes irgendwie. Ne? Die haben
if you
viel mehr
draw
noch
with your opponent, and
Knowledge
someone
von
else
Spielen,
goes
Brettspielen
2-0,
allgemein und
they
sowas.
could jump ahead of you.
Und echt
and
mega cool.
It's not easy to predict how the standings are going to be. And, part of this discussion, and when Tim was proposing this, it was, when we get through Swiss, we're not looking to see how many rounds you won. We're looking to see how good the players are at the end of Swiss. We're looking for rankings for players. So when we've done these test events, we've found that there's consistent ranking. Tim, even you could speak to that.
So with the tiebreakers there, you get a really good ranking of your strength of schedule, and in case that this is not enough and there could this precedence that even your strength of schedule is the same, we've added another tiebreaker, which is only used in a very, very small amount of cases, but this is the person who won the last game is getting a slightly better tiebreaker. So this means if you won game 2 out of the series, your third tiebreaker essentially is a bit better, which always gives us a really clear ranking after Swiss and determines the best players, really.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's been so incredible about these test events that we've been doing. So there are people out there that actually experienced this already. They were under NDA, so of course they haven't talked about it. But there's a lot of Disney Lorcana fans that have been experiencing this. And the thing that we're hearing the competitive players, they come into it obviously being resistant because why don't we just do what's been working? And after they've played it, it's, oh, this is actually a really competitive format. If you're that
Stark.
competitive
Richtig
player,
gut.
you need to crush your opponents. You need to not drop a game. And if you do drop a game and you've been crushing your opponents all day, it actually doesn't hurt that badly. At a test event that I was at, there was a player that was going 2-0 for several rounds, got 0-2'd in a round, and still ended the Day 1 Swiss at number 1 rank. They dropped a whole round, and they still were number 1 at the end because of how consistently they were playing over the course of the whole day. And then similarly, casual players, the people that were going there because they love Lorcana, they want to participate in Lorcana events, but they weren't necessarily that hyper-competitive player. Some of them were finding out that in this format, they actually had a chance. Maybe they weren't winning when it was best of 3, but now they're slowly gaining points, and they may like eke into that top cut. And even if they don't, they have something, a clear point system that they know how they did at the end of Swiss, where there were people at test events being excited about, oh, I got 34th and you got 36, like I beat you. They knew why they did. They understood why the rankings happened the way they did, and most importantly, they felt like every game mattered. Something that we've been hearing a lot in feedback from the more casual players, where Disney Lorcana is their first trading card game, is that they felt like when I win a game in a best of 3, it doesn't matter. If I lose the first game, they're suddenly on tilt because, I'm not. There's no way I'm going to beat this person who just crushed me. There's no way I'm going to beat them twice.
Yeah.
But what we were seeing was that those players who had given up when they're going into game 2 previously, they actually started fighting back. They knew that they still had a chance to get a point, and they were fighting back. They didn't just give up. So,
Das ist super tatsächlich.
Mega cool.
yeah,
Es gibt auch viel mehr Möglichkeiten nachher dann,
Ja.
um dann auch die Community aufzubauen.
Oh,
Ne?
this worked. And that's really what we were looking for from competitive players.
Ja, auch jetzt für Leute, die sich sonst immer drücken vom kompetitiven Spielen. Weißt du, das ist, was sie gesagt hat. Im Grunde genommen hast du dann wirklich eine gute Möglichkeit, selbst wenn du das erste Spiel verloren hast, hey, versuch das zweite zu gewinnen. Wenn du das schaffst, bist du genau gleich.
Mega.
Sogar etwas besser durch den Tiebreaker, wie sie das eben erklärt
How
haben.
do I
Also,
play the
super.
tournament by not playing the game? They're suddenly thinking about how do I get better at playing the game, not how do I get better at playing the tournament. How do I do better at the game? And we want the focus when we're starting these competitive events. We want playing the game to be the focus. We don't want people to drop after 2 rounds. We don't want people to give up because they had a rough first round or a rough second round. We want people to play through. And there's a reason to play
Das kommt halt
through.
durchaus vor.
Ja.
Ne? Du spielst dann die ersten 2 Runden, verlierst du und dann sagst du ja, ich droppe einfach, weil es hat sowieso keinen Sinn mehr, ich kann nichts
Ja,
mehr
kann
machen.
ich ja auch als
Aber
Casual-Spieler ja auch irgendwie tatsächlich so nachvollziehen.
Ja.
Also gibt schon so Situationen, wo man so, okay, gut, jetzt habe ich gar keine Chance, macht jetzt auch keinen Spaß mehr und dann
Ja, genau.
So even if
brauche ich
you're
mir
not
gar nicht so
someone
diese
who is
Gedanken
that
machen.
top player, you have goals
Ja.
to get to.
Voll
You
cool.
may be not fighting for getting in a top cut. You're fighting for I just want to get that let it go. So that's
Genau,
really what
das
we
ist
were
der Punkt, das wollte ich gerade auch sagen.
Um,
Selbst wenn du dann 2-0, 2-0 verloren hast, aber du möchtest vielleicht doch diese Top 64 erreichen, um die Let It Go zu bekommen, kannst dich weiter anstrengen, weil du wirst ja gepaart mit anderen, die auch nicht gewonnen haben. Und du battlest dich dann weiter, bis du diese Top 64 vielleicht schaffst zu kommen. Das ist super, das ist gut gelöst.
Have everyone keep in mind is that this is something that we're rolling out for Disney Lorcana Challenge. So this is not something that suddenly, we have the set championships coming up and your local play and all that sort of thing. If your store does not want to adopt this, we are not forcing this on anyone outside of Disney Lorcana Challenge. At challenge events, we will be using this format. But I do think there are going to be people that want to try it for themselves. We're not suddenly shifting the entire game to this. It's literally Day 1 Swiss at Disney Lorcana Challenge. Once we get to top cut, it goes best of 3. In each of those rounds, we have to find a winner. So, best of 3
Also es ist nur die Swiss-Phase tatsächlich. Wenn Top Cut geht es dann ganz normal weiter.
This
Okay.
is a format that felt more approachable. It removed some of those issues of people, debating about the die roll mattering. A lot of debates in the community about casual versus competitive, and this is kind of trying to marry those together.
Sehr gut.
Yeah, I don't know, Tim, if you have any other thoughts about it that you haven't shared, but if not, yeah. You can go.
It's all good. You pretty much summarized everything that we discussed and that we discovered in testing. Just one last thing to all the competitive players that might think best of 3 is better. I mean, I used to be one of those as well and just said I don't like this as well. But after you've played this format, it will make much more sense because you're playing far easier and far earlier against the players of your own strengths in those events. And you can show the skill there. So winning 2-0 is still the same as winning 2-0 in a best of 3. And yeah, it totally makes sense for challenge events also because it gives you more round time. And with that being said, I hope to see many of you in Bochum for the challenge event in Germany.
Ja, ich denke, wir werden dabei sein.
So yeah, thanks for
Ich freue
joining
mich
us.
jetzt schon.
And again, we'll talk about this more. We know that this is a big new thing. I'm sure lots of people have questions about or want to discuss. We have the Discord community, discord.gg/Disney Lorcana.
Bochum!
If you're not on it, jump on. We're going to talk about it more in the future before we get to those challenge events. So be prepared for that. But yeah, thank you, Tim, for joining to kind of explain it.
Nice one.
All right, thank you guys and enjoy the broadcast.
Thank you. But yeah, one more thing is that I just want to say, with these events, we appreciate how patient the community's been with competitive play and organized play and all that. And we hope that you're excited to participate more in competitive play and,
Ja,
and everything.
ich bin
organized
excited.
play.
Sowas von
The team
excited.
is really close to finalizing and posting the complete rules. It is something that will be up this week. And we are working on a judge test that is going to have a
Siehste?
soft rollout
Judge
for
test.
the staff at Disney Lorcana
Ja.
Challenge before expanding into the more publicly available judge program. So we'll be sharing all of those details and resources on DisneyLorcana.com. And we're working on a page for all organized play updates and news, including Disney Lorcana Challenge.
Oh, gut.
We just need to ask for a bit more patience as we work to
Mega.
get all of that live. But that's going to be your go-to place for all of the details about rules and in-store organized play and Disney Lorcana Challenge events and everything. So yeah, what do you guys think? It was a lot.
Yeah, I know Aaron's itching to talk about this. I just have to start with, Aaron and I come at this from two different angles. I started playing Magic back when the Junior Super Series was a thing. It was a competition for under 16-year-olds, and so I got my first taste of competitive TCGs way back then, and I love a good competitive event. I love casual play, but I love a good competitive event. And I've been mulling over this two-game Swiss format, and the more I've thought about it, the more I'm excited by it. First off, I am excited to try something new. I'm excited to go in and try a new tournament format where I'm collecting points as opposed to the traditional best of 3 system. I love that it's a little bit less of a grind. 2 games on the round, you don't have to worry about the 3-game mental strain.
Oh, it's a grind if you're looking to crush people.
That's fair. That's fair, which I'm sure a lot of people out there are. I love a good crushing.
Meinst du, dass noch was kommt? Oder ist das jetzt so, also die Infos, die wir bekommen haben, war ja eigentlich genau das, was man sich erhofft hat.
Ja.
Und ich kann es gerade nicht sehen, weil ich meine, das ist jetzt schon eine ganze Ecke lang.
Ich glaube, da wird auch nicht mehr so viel kommen, denke ich.
Ja, ich vermute einfach mal, dass jetzt vielleicht noch ein paar Talks kommen, aber halt die Randinformationen, die für uns relevant waren, glaube ich, haben wir alle mitbekommen und ich kann mir nicht vorstellen, dass noch was Besonderes kommt.
Hey, I'm here. I know I'm not going to win, or I don't think I'm going to win. But my goal is to see how good I am and to challenge myself. And for those players, I love this approachable idea of being able to see where they rank, see how many points they can collect, how many games they can pick up, and then the next time they go to an event, they want to push themselves and get a few more. Maybe you went to a 5-round tournament and you came away with 6 points. Next time you're like, you know what? I'm going to go to this 5-round tournament. If I get 8 points, I know I'm getting better. And I love that approachability aspect. I'm just a fan. I can't wait to try it. And I don't know. Aaron and I may do some starter deck games with this format and see how it goes. But I don't know, Aaron.
No, I appreciate. appreciate kind of how y'all thought about this announcement and continuing to stay, with the Disney Lorcana brand, even while you're thinking about how players play this game competitively, and the opportunity to continue to grow the community and make it approachable for players at all levels.
Ja, das finde ich mega gut. Genau was das Spiel auch braucht.
We've talked on this stream even about just that I am more of a casual player. Playing in a competitive setting, to me, quite frankly, is quite intimidating. I'll, join Liam and commentate on a tournament all day long, but me sitting down at a table is a really intimidating thing for me. And the idea of like not winning a best of 3 and walking away from that. You and I had an opportunity to talk about this briefly with an experience with a player at your LGS where they were playing against you and felt like they were not quote unquote winning.
Yeah.
And it's because they were winning games, but they weren't winning best of 3s. And I absolutely can empathize with that feeling as well.
Das ist schlimm, wenn du so ein Best of 3, der Gegner gewinnt 1, du gewinnst 1, dann gewinnt der Gegner. Dann hast du 2-1 verloren und dieser 1-Sieg, der bringt dir gar nichts im Grunde genommen. Somit ist das tatsächlich gar nicht mal so schlecht. Dann hättest du wenigstens den einen Punkt bekommen, der Gegner hätte auch einen Punkt bekommen. Und gut ist, das ist schlau.
I lost 3 rounds. And he goes, I can't believe that. Like you knew your deck, you were playing really well at home. And I said, yeah, well, I won like two or 3 games. And he's like, okay, well, you won.
Yeah.
Genau,
but
stimmt.
As a newer player to TCGs, like you walk away from these best of 3 sometimes feeling like you haven't won anything. And so the idea that we're moving to this point system, I can hopefully change my thought process to say, well, but I got 4 points.
Right.
Or, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then the next time we go, maybe I get 6 points. And now I'm being able to see myself grow as a player and compete against myself. And so I really appreciate that from kind of a newer TCG player, a more casual player standpoint. And I also think that this is going to work from the tournaments we've been able to commentate on. I think that this is going to work in Swiss rounds. Like, it's crazy how many games go to time, especially with these control decks, as you were mentioning. And so I think that this will really help speed up pace of play, allow tournaments to run more on schedule, which is like my favorite thing ever, is when we actually run on time with a tournament. And so, I think I'm really excited for this format. I can't wait to try it out myself.
One final thought. I think, as a community, I know we have people experience, games and people experience Lorcana in different ways. Everybody has their own way of playing and everybody has their own approach, whether it's, more casual or competitive. Some people love tournaments, some don't. But I think that as a community, as a Lorcana community or as a gaming community, we all benefit when we give people ways to access various parts of the game. And so the more that we encourage or we provide an avenue for people who are new to the game to feel like tournaments are accessible for them, I think that's better. We get bigger player pools. Players have a variety of experiences. Players who may not, they may be some of the best players, but they just don't want to deal with a tournament. If we give them an easier access point, it's just better for everybody.
Das Schöne ist ja auch, dass daraus ja richtig gute Spiele entstehen können. Ich meine, selbst wenn man dann vorher nicht so involviert war und so viel Erfahrung hatte, hast du ja die Möglichkeit, daran zu wachsen tatsächlich.
Absolut.
We just had an opportunity to commentate on a tournament in Texas where there was
Das Traurige ist aber nur, dass jetzt gerade gesprochen wird, wie das wäre, wenn man dieses Punktesystem nutzt. Aber die haben ja eben gesagt, dass das momentan nur für die Challenges gilt. Die LGSs müssten das selber adaptieren. Und das ist halt so ein Ding halt. Es gibt also kein Machtwort, dass die sagen, LGSs, ab jetzt macht ihr das so. Und somit hat man halt jetzt so eine Sache halt. Das ist schön und gut, dass wir darüber reden und wie es wäre. Aber ja, die LGSs müssten das nun mal auch implementieren. Ne? Sonst
ja, da muss man da vielleicht doch ein bisschen restriktiver werden an der Stelle.
Ja, eventuell müsste man mit der Community sprechen, die den LGS besucht und fragen, ob man diese neuen Formate eventuell nutzen möchte, weil das einfach besser für alle ist. Das wäre doch eine Möglichkeit.
So there are people that are the best of the best, and we're making sure that when we are working on this format, finding the best of the best is the number one priority. But the other thing that this is solving is it's giving people more of that aspiration. This is something that will make those players, like a kid that wants to join an event, have something to work towards. They're not expected to win an event necessarily, unless they're amazingly good, but knowing like, oh, well, I need this many points, so I'm going to keep trying to get more points to try and get better and get to that point where I'm winning events. That's kind of one of the things that this is doing. You know, a lot of people in the chat have asked about, on that topic, what are we doing for kids with Disney Lorcana Challenge? There are things in the works for how to help with having kids experience with Disney Lorcana Challenge. Again, we're not ready to share that here, but it is something that will be part of those announcements when we when we get that started. So yeah, though we're gonna move on from Disney Lorcana Challenge. Spend a lot of time talking about it right now. But the last thing regarding new information, sort of new information, is Disney Lorcana Gateway. We have the box here. I know that people have seen the box either at
Also das Intro-Spiel sozusagen für Neueinsteiger. Die Infos waren aber schon bekannt tatsächlich.
It seems maybe weird to bring that up. You know, why are we showing the box that has already been seen? Well, Liam, put that down right here. Okay. Let's show the back of the box.
Oh, it's new.
Oh, there's set 4 cards.
Das müsste eine Art Brettspiel sein, glaube ich.
For those of you wanting more card reveals.
So Multi-Game
sozusagen.
Ja, das war halt gedacht, um Leute, die noch nie das Spiel gespielt haben, die reinzubringen. Und das ist halt, ne, du fängst mit dem kleines Deck an, ich glaube 30 Karten, und dann spielst du die Szenarien durch und dann willst du nach und nach weitere Karten in dein Deck rein tun, bis es halt ein 60 Karten Deck erreicht hat. Und das ist halt, um jemand tatsächlich das Spiel näher zu bringen. Ja.
30 Karten jeweils.
Ja.
Oh,
schick.
Oh.
Sapphire, 5-cost inkable Dreamborn character, 3 strength, 5 willpower, 3 lore.
Ich mag das auch sehr.
With the ability Perceptive Partner. While you have a character named Pascal in play, this character gains ward. So, you know, typically that Pascal has been used to avoid interacting with characters while they gain lore. And this Rapunzel kind of plays into that strategy where you can't choose her for abilities if Pascal and Rapunzel are working together.
I love it so much.
Ja, mega
I
cool.
love flavor almost as much as I love good mechanics, but what a flavor when...
Ich meine, Pascal würde ja dann behütet bekommen, weil du einen anderen Charakter kontrollierst, und Rapunzel bekommt das, weil du Pascal kontrollierst. Ziemlich cool eigentlich.
And the other thing I love when we see synergies in color combos, which we don't often see.
Richtig,
so now we're seeing
Amethyst,
Pascal and
Saphir.
Amethyst, and we see Rapunzel in Sapphire. This is working across that color combo, and I hope that we can see more synergies that we can build decks around, you know, between these two colors. I love it again.
Ha! Wir haben viele Partien mit der Color Combo auf unserem Kanal.
Can I ask an art question? Is there like intent? I mean, Aubrey Archer with the Rapunzels. Like, she is like really good at Rapunzels.
She is, and that's why we ask her to do a lot of Rapunzels. She's an amazing artist, and she actually is one of our art directors right now as well. So you'll see a lot of really great Rapunzel cards from Aubrey, and she always knocks it out of the park with Rapunzel.
She just like is so. I feel like she's now. This is the 3rd Rapunzel we've seen her do. Maybe.
Well, 3 card, a different art style too. So we've seen multiple versions.
Yeah, that's true. So I mean, she's just so like a part of this character now, and I love that she's continuing to put these Rapunzels out. Beautiful as always.
So next we have Goofy. Goofy,
Oh, sieht auch cool aus.
4-cost
Super
inkable
Goof.
Ruby, Storyborn character, 2 strength, 4 willpower,
Super
1
Peanut
lore,
Powers.
with Rush, and an ability Super
Stimmt.
Peanut Powers.
Ja, ich erinnere mich.
Account
Aus
with
den
another
lustigen
character
Taschenbüchern,
gains
da war das
power.
immer so. Das hat er seine Super Peanuts gehabt und die dann gegessen und hat er sich in Super Goofy verwandelt.
So this is a new use of Rush, right? So you can
Mega
Rush
cool.
with a high strength character that's used for some board control. This is kind of new where, yes, you can use it to remove something low strength, but you're also using it more for that lore effect. And so with his high willpower, or higher willpower, in theory, you perhaps can use him, to immediately gain some lore, and he'll stick around for another turn to allow you to get a little bit more out of him. So potentially, you use him right for lore out of this character. And another way to
Never
gain lore,
underestimate the power of a goof.
without having to put a character on the board and wait a whole turn to quest. Another way for Ruby to close out games. Fun.
And then next we have Hans.
Hans. Den mögen ja nicht viele.
Hans, Noble Scoundrel. He is a 3-cost inkable sapphire
Der ist im Zimmer vom
storyboard
Anna.
character with 3 strength, 2 willpower, 2 lore, and an ability Royal Schemes. When you play this character, if a princess or queen character is in play, gain 1 lore. Very on brand for Hans.
In Anna's bedroom. I mean, there's a portrait of her on the wall.
So this what a
Royal
what a villain.
schemes.
Royal schemes. I have to say I have seen Frozen. I underestimated how hated of a villain Hans is until this week.
Ja, was kann ich sagen?
I mean, what a terrible villain. So more hands, more cards for people to hate. What again, from a flavor perspective, what a win with the ability. Gosh, we have a lot of princesses in the game. We have a lot of queens in the game. He's a prince himself, so a lot of synergy there. Interesting.
I want to point something out in the art.
Yeah.
I love the storytelling in this one. Do you see the crosshair kind of shape near
Man.
Anna?
Oh, that is so cool.
I love it.
Yes, okay.
He's definitely scheming.
I
Yeah.
love it so much. Yeah.
So the flavor text is a little too small for me to read, unfortunately, from here. I don't know if anyone else can see it, but basically there is more story. One thing to keep in mind, Ursula's Return as a set narratively takes place before the Illuminator's quest. So there's still story going on that leads into the Illuminator's quest. Hans is sort of playing into what's going on, and there's more story there that we'll leave for future reveals.
Okay.
This art is so good.
So let's show. Oh, sorry.
He's in. I think in Kristoff's room because it says he needs something of Kristoff to lure her in.
He's got a picture of
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Michelle.
So let's go to Daisy Duck as the next one. Daisy Duck, Lovely Lady, is a 1-cost inkable Amber Dreamborn character with 1 strength and 3 willpower and 1 lore. No game text, but some really great flavor text there from the narrative team.
Sieht auch voll schick aus.
Just cute. I love the hair.
I don't have my glasses, so I'm
absolut.
seeing the poem and I love it. It's great. I mean, we see these 1-3 stat lines are often useful on turn 1. Amber's getting one here, so I love it. And what a beautiful one. Fantastic work.
And then next up is Anna, who we were just talking about. A little bit more of that story that was going on with Hans. There's a few more cards to piece that story together.
Es gab doch eine andere Karte, die so einen ähnlichen Stil hatte. Welche war das? War das Hans? Welcher war das? Auch so in diesem Schneesturm-mäßig. Also wirkte jedenfalls auf mich in dem Moment. Vielleicht habe ich's... Ja, ich bin mir nicht mehr ganz sicher. Irgendwie was habe ich da vorm Auge.
Obviously, we need heroes to combat Ursula. So Anna is one of those characters that really strong in the hero theme, but it seems that maybe Ursula and Hans kind of know that Anna is one of those strong hero characters and are trying to do something about it.
Something I feel like we've seen several times today is this gaining lore based on conditions of the board. I feel like we saw this, like these two characters here. We've seen it a little bit in the madrigals. So very interesting. I also love. I feel like maybe it's just the cards we're seeing today, and it'll be once we see more and more cards in set 4. But Ravensburg, your creative team is doing a lot more original flavor text, and you know, playing out this story like that makes a lot of sense. But I'm loving again starting to see this story kind of roll out in this set and having a lot more of these flavor texts that kind of like nod to other cards maybe that we're going to see in the set and how all of this kind of works together. So.
And then there is one last card on the Gateway box, on the back of the Gateway box, that people have been wanting to finally see. It has been passed around in the story a few times. Triton's Trident.
Oh my goodness, it's finally here.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, cool.
Triton's Trident is a 2-cost inkable item in Amethyst that has the ability Symbol of Power. Banish this item. Chosen character gets +1 strength this turn for each card in your hand.
Oh.
Amethyst loves card draw, and now this
Der
gives
Spruch
it
darunter
a
ist gut.
pretty nice
Just
piece of
imagine all this
removal.
power in the wrong hands.
If you're playing into that theme of card draw and having a ton of cards in your hand.
And I love that the flavor text is an Ursula quote.
It really is. I mean, so for those following the story, I mean, the Trident has been teased as super important since the very beginning. We see Martin reaching for it in one of the trailers, trying to grab it out of all the lore pieces that are being swept out of the Illuminary. The Trident is mentioned over and over again, and so here's the payoff. The ability's fun. You know, it'll work in an item synergy deck as well. You know, item decks love items, but from a narrative perspective, I love that you're kind of telling the story that this Trident is being used for one big moment. Like Ursula's gathering her power, she's gathering, you know, things together. She has all these resources, and then there's one big moment where she's making use of this Trident to do something, perhaps.
Yeah.
I love the flavor of this.
And I will say, you know, there's some comments of like, the Trident really is uncommon. Look at the flavor text. Just imagine all this power in the wrong hands from Ursula herself. You know, you called back to the trailer of this moment of the Trident. The Trident's not done here. This is the first time the Trident's appearing as a card, but it's not the only time that the Trident is part of the story. So, more to look forward to. But yeah, that's everything that we have for reveals and new information.
Das war cool.
We are going to stick around and hang out more after this, but we're going to take a break, kind of get resituated, let us all sit with everything we've talked about. We have a bunch of
Das war eine Menge
Ink
an
Lands
Informationen.
here, just for us to open up, hang out, and Matt has been very patient.
Talk about art.
But yeah, we'll be back. But thank you everyone, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes.